Now, as we all know, the Chicago Bears have not been doing well this entire season, as they have once again been a disappointment. They just really need to get things together, and well, that hasn't been the case. So if the Bears want to improve, they would have to do the usual with drafting, signing, or trading. But more importantly, they would have to get a new coach and GM, maybe even a new president. So, what is going to be the plan for the Bears, and how will they move forward? How is everybody doing today? It's Wartolo back with another video. Today, I'll be talking about the Chicago Bears and what their plan should be moving forward in order to improve. Let's not waste any time, and let's get straight into it. Now let's take a look at the man who has to make the move. The man who has been the chairman of the Chicago Bears since 2011 when he replaced his brother. The guy I am talking about is George McCaskey. Now let's just say he seems like a man who is confident in his decisions. Back in 2015, the Chicago Bears would end up signing their current general manager, Ryan Pace. McCaskey said back in 2015 that he knew this guy would get the job done and that he would help the Bears become a contending team. But after 2015, well, the Bears did win their division in 2018 and just were able to make the playoffs in 2020. But in both of those years, they got eliminated in the wild card. And as for the other seasons, well, they were either mediocre or garbage. So yeah, kind of a disappointment. And it seemed like the president of the Bears, Ted Phillips, made a bit of a mistake. So I think it's only right we start off by talking about what George should exactly do with Ted. Should he keep him or move on? Well, it has been reported that Ted might consider retiring soon, as he has been the president of the Chicago Bears since 1999. Despite the fact that Phillips missed with signing Ryan Pace, he still seems like a man who knows what he is doing. I mean, sure, Pace wasn't great, but I believe since he's going to retire soon, it's best to see what the man can do before his job is done. Now, he has said he will try to find a new general manager for the Bears, but who could he potentially go for? Well, according to the Chicago Bears senior writer for The Athletic, Adam Jans, he believes that the Bears should go after Bill Polian, a man who has won the Super Bowl and is a 6-time NFL Executive of the Year. So basically, if George had to make a move whether or not he should keep Ted, I think he should give him one more chance. And it seems like it might just happen. It was reported that George loved the fact that Phillips drafted Justin Fields. He believes that he could be their franchise quarterback. And you know, I could definitely see that happening. So from what it looks like, Phillips will stay. And I think now would be a good time to move on to Ted and one move he has to make and how to do it, which is firing the Bears head coach, Matt Nagy. So far this year, Justin Fields has not been living up to the hype, as a lot of fans thought he would do much better. By that, I mean the man has been a bit of a disappointment. And one reason why is because the Chicago Bears head coach is simply not it. So this offseason, Phillips should consider going after guys like Tom Telesco, who was the guy that drafted Justin Herbert, or Steve Keim, who drafted Kyler Murray. Since those two men have experience in developing young athletes who could be the future of their organization, Ted Phillips should try getting his hands on one of them if he wants his team to turn around in a good way. George's situation is not as hard as it looks. He will just need Phillips to find the right people and then get the job done. And it's not just George who believes in him, but so do the fans. And the thing is, when Phillips eventually retires, there really isn't anyone who can replace him who is as good as him. Someone who has the type of qualifications he had or even better. Finding a president for your team is way harder than finding a general manager or head coach for your team. So for now, the Bears will have to stick with Ted. So in the end, here's what George should do. He should keep Ted and let him do his thing. Then Ted will have to find a new general manager because Ryan Pace has not been the right fit for the past 6 years. And then whoever Ted signs as the new GM, so let's say the man we suggested, which was Bill Polian, he will have to find a new head coach to help train Justin Fields and get him out of the slump he is in. Because we all know how much of a helper Justin Fields could be. Like I said the first time, George is not in a very hard and stress-worthy situation. All he needs to do is trust his men, and after that, it's all about signing and trading for the right players. That is going to be it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. A few things I'd like to say before this video ends, though, is number one, Merry Christmas to all you sports hodlers out there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And number two, since this is technically my final video of talking about sports in 2021, I am planning to making a year review of everything I did on YouTube this year. So I think it's going to be pretty cool because I kind of did the same thing last year, but this year I really just want to conclude this year in a very good way and not just making the sports videos. So yeah, on December 31st, I am planning to make a video where I'm reviewing my entire YouTube year, so it should be fun. But besides that, I will see you all in the next video. I'm out.